I'm just going to bring it up a little bit, make sure it's not going to catch anything. Good girl. And just very gently do the girth up. I'm going to go through kind of where we left off in terms of the roller. So she's had the roller on and she's had obviously the girth done it, and we've exposed her to that. So the next step is to add a saddle in. So it'll be very much the same principle as the roller video, so I'm not going to take as long to kind of explain it, because if you go back and watch the video it's the same steps just with the saddle instead. So I tend to, you can do it on the yard, you can do it in the field. The head collar and lead rope on, but I don't tend to tie them up, which I don't generally do anyway. If they want to move away, then it shows they're not comfortable with what you're doing, so rather than having them tied to a specific spot and that they can't move there, or move from there, it just means that if I go to put the numbner on or I go to put the saddle on and she kind of sidesteps a little bit, which she might do, I need to take it back a step. It kind of shows me that, whereas if she's tied up she can't show me that. So I'm just going to start with a numbner, which she's used to. She's had the saddle on twice, but that's it. So this isn't technically her first time, but it's still one of the first times, and it's still new. And again, she's pretty good with having, I mean, she's quite happy eating her hay at the moment as well, which is helpful. I have got treats in here, just some chaff if we need it, but if she's eating her hay, then I'm happy that she's happy. I'm not going to take it away from her. Okay, it means her head's not in the video, but she's happier, so I don't care. So she's happy having rugs and stuff thrown over her. She's not one that's a bit spooky with that. If you have got one that maybe when you go to put your rug on sort of flinches a little bit, or again moves away, goes to the corner, doesn't want it being put on, then you'll probably need to work on this a little bit. But you'd have had that same thing with the roller, so hopefully you'll have done that first anyway. So say numbner on, quite happy with that, and then I'm just going to grab the saddle. I'm going to let her have a little look at it first. I say this isn't the first time, and she's actually not very interested today. If at this stage she'd kind of backed off and moved away, I might come out the stable a little bit, let her have a sniff of it. I'd click and treat if she touches it or anything like that until she's relaxed. So if you do, you're gonna have to come here a minute. If you do have one that is a little bit more sensitive, then that's the place to start. Let them have a look at it. It's a big item that you're going to be putting on their back, and they need to be happy with it. If they're not happy with it here, then they're not going to be happy with it on their back. So then I would kind of move to just popping it just against her somewhere. Good girl. Good. I know, we are going to use some sweeties. Good girl. And again, just building it up. The same as to do the roller. Good girl. And exactly the same principle. It's just a little bit heavier. Good girl. Okay, so say this isn't the first time she's had it on. So I'm not, and say I don't want to go over too many of the same stuff that I went over the roller video, because it's exactly the same principle. So I'm just going to build up. See, this saddle's got long leathers on, so what I do anyway is I'll bring it up so that it's not going to tickle her on the side when I'm putting it on or get stuck anywhere. This side I'm not too worried about. So first of all, I'm just going to, good girl, so she's eating her hay, she doesn't really care. Good girl. But I'm still going to reward her anyway. You know, she's not reacting. Yeah, she's eating her hay and she wants, but I want to tell her that what she's done is good as well. I'm going to do that again. Good girl. And I say I've still got my hand under it, the same as I did with the roller, so that if she moves away or anything, I can quickly, good girl. take it off and it not be an issue, rather than plonk it down on her, her then go, oh my god, I don't like that, shoot away with the saddle, and it fall off her or something like that. I've still got control of it at this stage. Let's do it once more. Good girl. And she stopped eating a little bit there, so she was a bit more aware of what I was doing. Good girl. Okay. Get covered in hay and chat. So this time I'm gonna, good girl, put it all the way down. Good. And just kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle. I'm still holding on to it. Good girl. Okay. Good girl. And then I'm just gonna pop everything in place where it should be. Obviously at this stage, if when you get to this stage your horse is a bit, you know, head up, wild-eyed, a little bit tense, and the side of their neck's tight, maybe they've moved away, then you're definitely not ready to put the girth on. If they're like she is, they're eating, they're quite happy, you know, I'm still, even though I'm happy that she's happy, I'm still holding on to it, just in case, okay? And what I'm going to do, good girl, I'm actually going to put the girth on the wrong side first, so I'm going to stay on her left, and just pop the girth on. Again, say she's eating, I don't mind her eating. Shows that she's happy, she's carrying on eating. Say it doesn't make for a very good video, but it doesn't really matter. Good girl. What I am going to do, I'm going to bring you this way so I can get on the other side. And again, I'm still holding it. One more. I want to get around the other side of you. Come on. You're a bit stuck. Saddle this side now, not that you can see very well. I'm just going to ask her to step one more over. Ah, good girl. And then I'm going to do exactly the same this side. Good girl. Again, you can't really see, she's not making this very helpful. So I'm very, very loosely going to do this girther. Again, exactly the same as with the roller. Everything's where it should be. I can give the saddle a little rock. I'm just going to do it at loose. Good girl. So that it's just on. Hello, gorgeous. She's just checking out what I'm doing. Good girl. If I move her manger, she's going to stand by there. Good girl. There we go. So, as you can see, I haven't done this up very tight at all. Now, obviously, that's not ideal because the saddle can still move and it can slip. So I've still got hold of it. I'm going to make sure it's in the right place. And then like we did with the roller, I'm just going to bring it up a little bit, make sure it's not going to catch anything. Good girl. And just very gently do the girther. As I said before with the roller, very often the saddle's not the issue, especially if it's a nice light saddle like this, and it fits well. Quite often it's this action of doing the girther that a lot of them don't like, and that's what they react to. Good girl. So if you can make that as pleasant of an experience as possible, then you shouldn't have any issues. Obviously there's always exceptions. Good girl. And one that's very sensitive and maybe doesn't, good girl, doesn't like things above it, or you know, this is a big bulky item that's now behind her. If she didn't like rugs and stuff like that, then maybe it wouldn't be as easy as it has been. But luckily, good girl, she's very good with stuff like that, and it doesn't really bother her. So you can't go out there. So again, I don't know if you can see from there. I can get a fist in there. It's nowhere near tight enough to get on or anything like that, but if this is your first day doing it, that's great. You know, you can do that. You can let her have it on for a little bit, keep an eye on them, obviously stay in there with them, never leave them, and give her a couple of minutes, let her have maybe some food again, whatever you fancy, and then take it off. And then the next time you can do it a little tighter and a little bit tighter and a little bit tighter. From her point of view, no, back. I'm going to go up one more. I'm going to keep a hold of it. And if you are rewarding, you know, the big stuff, make sure you reward decently. You know, don't scrounge on the sweets. Is that okay? And then I'm just going to do that back one up. The same tightness, good girl. And now that's, I would probably get on with that, to be honest, and then I'd have to do it up again when I got on, but good girl. You listening now? You don't want your hay anymore. Good girl. Right. Good. And again, you know, I might give it a little wiggle. And it just entirely depends on how they're reacting as to what you do next and how far you take those steps. You know, if I did that and her head went up and she got tight under here and she's kind of scooted a little bit, then I've gone too far. Good girl. And she's paying attention to what I'm doing. She's not completely ignoring me. Good girl. But she's not getting stressed or worried about it. In fact, she's half asleep. Hello. Yummy. Good girl. And the same with the girth. You know, if I did the girth up a little bit and she got a bit, you know, maybe tight under here or a bit sensitive or whatever, or she shimmied around, then I would stop, maybe not even do the girth that day. So it all depends, and just because you've done, say maybe you've got up to this step on one day, the next day you do it, it could be really windy, it could be lashing down with rain, they might have just been running around like idiots, anything like that, their adrenaline could be up and you might not even be able to get the saddle on, you might just have to do the numb nut, or you might not be able to leave the saddle on, you might just have to do on and off. Just because you've already done it once, you might have to go back and re-establish it. And you know, one time is not enough for them to kind of learn that this is what we do. Say this is the third time she's had the saddle on, but I'm still very much treating it still like that first day. And if she'd have reacted any differently today, then I would have done things differently. Obviously, she's quite happy. You, right? But if she wasn't, as I said, then I'd have done things differently. So I'm just going to take it off it now. So the same thing. I am going to leave the girth on the other side to undo it. Good girl. Very gently. I'm doing it. I'm going to keep hold of the girth as it comes under so it doesn't hit her legs. And I'm going to take it all off in one go. Again, gently. Good. And you have a sweetie. Good girl. Just pop that down there. Good. So yeah, it's, as I've said in the other videos for anything really, it's taking it all step by step and gauging what they're doing as to what you do. Obviously that's almost all the way through of getting the saddle on and done it. And something to bear in mind is, okay, they might be fine stood in the stable, not moving, and this goes for the roller as well. When you then take them out and they take a couple of steps and they feel that girth, that could be a strange moment for them. It might feel a bit funny and they might have a bit of a wobbly. So take that into account, especially again if you're clicking, if you're using the positive reinforcement and you're rewarding, you might only ask to do a couple of steps and then reward, rather than go, right, okay, well let's go up and lunge now because you've had your saddle on. You really need to break it up into proper baby steps, even if they are okay, just to give them the best chance to get it right and to do what we want them to do. But yeah, I think the next video I'll look at doing some mounting block work with her. Obviously there's the full mounting block video already on Facebook and YouTube, which really breaks everything down, more so for ones that are maybe struggling with the mounting block, but it's the same principle as I use with when we're starting them, getting them used to the mounting block. So I'll go through again briefly in a quick video about doing that with a young horse, and then we'll work up to, you know, getting on, doing things for the first time, lunging, long reining. She hasn't been long reined yet, so that'll be I'll save that for a first video. Yeah, if you want to try that, just say listen to what they're telling you, take it step by step. If you can use a light saddle, if you've got a lighter saddle, that's obviously going to help, but it still needs to fit whether you're sitting on it or not, especially if you're girthing it up. it does need to fit, because you can still create pressure points and make them uncomfortable with something just goofed up, and especially if you're then lunging and long rein and stuff in it, you might not want to fork out on a young horse, and that's understandable, but it's really important now that their first experiences of the saddles are good ones and that they do fit properly. So just bear that in mind. See how you get on with yours, have a go, and again you can use these methods for one if you've got a horse that doesn't like a saddle because they've had a bad fit in one previously or anything like that. Same thing, you can work on just putting the numner on, clicking and rewarding, then putting the saddle on, clicking and rewarding, and trying to get rid of that negative association that they've got. So it doesn't just have to be a young horse. Go back out now. So if you want to see some more videos like this, you can find them on our YouTube channel. All the training videos go out a week early on our YouTube channel than they do on Facebook. We cover all sorts of topics from lunging, long reining, in-hand work, ridden work, starting young horses. There's going to be lots and lots of content on there, and I'm trying to post new videos every week. So if you're looking for some new things to do, some new exercises, some new groundwork to do, then head over there and you can see them a week early, or wait to see them here on Facebook. And let us know below what you'd like to see next week.